Well, the first thing you want to know about it is it's about helping someone study themselves. You want to find out why you do what you do. I can help you do that, okay? And that's the general attitude. And it requires, it happens in certain phases. There's a phase where we prepare to do this self-study part. And in that phase, we build a relationship, and we find things that we can self-study. The therapist finds them, generally. Because the things we want to study are basically unconscious. And so we can't ask the client what it is. We have to find it ourselves as therapists. So in the preparation phase, we're doing that. And then in the self-study phase, we do something very unique. We do what you could call little experiments, okay? We're trying to help the person discover something, just like you would get data from any kind of experiment. We want the client to be able to get data about themselves, about how they organize themselves. And we don't ask questions to get that data. We do experiments, which is another kind of question, really. And these experiments are done with the client in a particular state of mind. And it's a state of mind where they will allow a reaction. They're vulnerable. And those reactions should be very telling, because the reaction is being organized by their unconscious mind. So the reaction tells you how they're organized, how they organize their experience, how they experience their being in the world. Most people function as if what they're experiencing is simply real, but as any scientist would tell you, any neurologist or psychologist, we process through stages and stages before things become conscious. Think about optical illusions. You're looking at it, but it ain't the way you see. What you think you're seeing is not what's there. That's typical of an optical illusion. And you could say about, everything we face is some kind of illusion. And certainly the Buddhists would agree to that. So we do experiments to kind of reveal your ideas to yourself, to reveal your beliefs and the way you organize your experience in the world. That's phase 2, the self-study phase. And that's where the therapist is really busy. And then there's a last phase, because we're looking for those things that cause suffering, unnecessary suffering. Because of the beliefs you have, which were built out of your experiences, you've created ways of being in the world that block you from taking in certain kind of emotional nourishment, but also they create this unnecessary suffering. Like, the example I like to give is, if you don't trust people, if you don't trust anybody, now it's true, some people you can trust, but some people you can't trust, and some people you can trust. But if you don't trust anybody, you're not going to have very good relationships. And that's a kind of unnecessary suffering. You're missing what's available. You're missing those people who can be trusted. So we look for we look for the signs, and what we call them indicators of those kinds of beliefs. And if you find one, and we do an experiment that evokes realization of that, which usually comes with emotions, then we have a process. The third phase is a process whereby we help the person heal that pain. Actually, it's pain that causes this. And it's the kind of pain that perpetuates another pain, the missing nourishment.
On the list.
The most important thing in the whole process is the state of mind of the therapist.
Okay.
Because the state of mind of the therapist creates the aura or the energy of the therapist, and that is going to affect the client unconsciously or whatever. So, as a therapist, you have to put yourself in the right state of mind, and that might take years. You know, you have to have great compassion, you have to have great clarity, and you have to be able to maintain your attention on the present. You know, you can't go drifting off. You can't be like looking away and thinking about, well, you know what, when you were a child, you can't go away from the present. Because the connection is in the present. The feeling, the unconscious connection with the client, and the feeling the client's going to have is connected to who you are and what you're doing in the moment. And what you're feeling in the moment.